The whole thing, I just wanted to have the questions.
Let me fix that. Show me. Sorry. I don't. That's the Google Doc I got.
You didn't get these? The questions?
Oh. Where are those? Sorry, Marjorie.
Because you responded to me. When I sent it to you, I thought, did I send you the wrong thing?
So I have the YouTube link. I said wonderful. And that's the YouTube link, right?
Okay.
Then here's the other one. I think I emailed this morning, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So try to prepare notes.
Yeah, because I didn't have you open that.
So when I opened this is what I got. The
Can
questions
you-
at the bottom.
Scroll, can you keep scrolling? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You know, there's this thing, okay, can you go to the top? There's 2 tabs in this document, and I thought is comments.
Let me grab my laptop.
Okay.
Or should I just grab those from you now and photocopy them?
Oh, can you?
Yeah, can I just photocopy? Is it just one page?
Yes, it's just one page, yeah.
I'll make 20 copies. Hey, Terry.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, good morning.
I'm Mary Johnson. I've been corresponding with you about the retreat.
Oh, okay, fantastic, okay,
So
great.
you've got a busy schedule. So at some point between now and September, maybe the 2 of us or a small group of us could meet and we could kind of map out what that whole thing might look like.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
We're very happy you said yes. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to do it.
Good morning.
Good morning, Patty. Sorry about that. That's crazy.
Because there's this tab option where you can.
Other documents.
Right.
Same. Okay.
Right.
Didn't see that. Sorry.
Well, no, I
But
didn't
I-
realize it doesn't go over that way, that it doesn't,
Right.
so I share it, it's shared, I don't know.
It's all good. How are you, Mary? Good. Morning, Jay.
Morning, Craig.
Welcome. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing much better, thanks.
Good.
And everyone gets them before, right?
Yes, yes. And you have the song to play?
Song is up and ready.
Cause I can't sing, somebody wants that. Nobody wants
Yeah.
that.
This is on.
It's such a beautiful rendition, I loved it.
Absolutely,
I
yes.
couldn't stop playing it.
I loved it too. I want to make sure that when I share screen that we get the optimized.
Experience, cause don't you have to share sound?
Yeah. I go to video. Maybe it's actually when I share. Yeah, here, optimize for video sharing, and then share the sound. But why? Why? Here we go. Okay, so that's ready to roll. I'm going to turn off this panorama because
We don't need that top bar.
That is too fancy stuff with the Zoom. I'm just trying to get my yoga studio to print the post meeting report of people meeting.
Oh. And even that is enough of a challenge. Yeah. And Marjorie, would you like an opening prayer or an introduction of any kind? Or are you ready to just leap right in at 9:03? Okay.
Can you give me the? Can you give me the? Mad ride?
Okay, good.
I'll jump right into it.
Okay. How are you?
Yes. The praise have been so good. No.
Thank you, thank you.
Glad.
Yeah, so it's our position.
Right.
Right, no toxic masculinity. please. Good morning.
Yeah. Just pass this on.
Welcome, good morning. How are you? I pray, remind me of your name. Richard and Rebecca. Welcome back. Good to see you. Are you coming into the floor? All right, yeah, help yourself to some coffee in the corner, take a seat in the sofa, and we'll begin shortly. My apologies. No, absolutely not. This is about jumping in the joy. You have to be right in the center of it. Let's come on in.
You're making me nervous by wearing a tracksuit.
Me? I don't know. Are we?
How are you? I can take them off if I.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Oh, wow. Am I? In March?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh. Fantastic. Thank you.
It's a good sign. Are people cold? Should I open the doors of the fire? Are we okay? Terry, okay. Terry, we're gonna warm up the room here. Get a little more heat. Your Zimbabwean colleague and friend Terry thanks you. Because this is not Southern Africa.
Older than Kilimanjaro.
Older than Kilimanjaro. Yes.
I mean, the one that was earlier, you were saying I would do it with the
Nice. Yeah, insert, it looks real.
It does look real.
I watched it. Wow.
Does your fireplace, do you build a fire in there?
On fire. Keith Ellison is not.
You gotta open the flue though, 'cause it's real wood burn.
Big fight.
So you gotta open it. Yes, we do.
There was that one December when I was there. I
Also
thought,
really like
I
the
wonder-
prosecuting attorney for the AG from
Yeah.
county now.
We do, there's driveway in the garage.
Okay.
Driveway in the garage, we have to just use the little quickly to the front flame logs, but.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the easiest, because you
It is,
just turn it on.
it is the easiest, but you don't get the smell or that crackle pop.
Right, which is the half of the
The magic,
experience.
right.
Exactly.
Oh, Jelani loved it. He
Really?
would get books from the library and he was in the window seat, that big bay window, that's why all those pillows are there.
You get a little chair.
Because he would sit in there.
I'm sorry, it was like. the
Read,
same-
"We got a fire, how
It was
come?"
all about the.
When I was in seminary, I would be like,
Ways that.
let's go to the
first
library, get
40
all the books you want.
migrants,
And then-
So that you can stay out of my
What to do,
way.
exactly what to
Then we're
do.
both gonna sit in the living room and read and drink hot cocoa.
Yes,
So that was good.
Well,
for
ice
like
comes
a
to the-
good 1
Oh,
or 2 hours of study.
yeah.
Especially.
Yeah, especially. It's always a good sign when folks are really, this is good.
Actually, a bitter cold morning.
Yeah,
It's always supposed to get colder.
at the announcement at 8, did Judy mention that Lenten read, that the books are out?
I don't remember,
Okay,
but I saw them,
yes, oh, good.
but I saw them.
I'll make a quick announcement before. that. Hey, Marty, how's it going? Much better, thanks. Yeah, it was 6 days of chaos. Yeah, but I recreated on the first day of creation, so yeah.
A new creation.
A new creation indeed, so, yeah, it's good to see you.
Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Morning, Holly, welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Oh, Dr. Mark, you make me so nervous.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Phil, welcome. Do you need any assistance? Are you okay getting to a seat or do you need a separate chair?
I think I could sit back here. Thanks, very sure.
Well, it is 9 o'clock. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Good to have such a good crowd early. I think everyone's clearly seeking joy this morning. And we're delighted.
That's bigger.
We're delighted to welcome our evangelist for spiritual healing, Marjorie Grevious, as our guest presenter and presenter this morning. Before I begin, an announcement that the books for our Lenten read have arrived. It is Viktor Frankl's classic text, Man's Search for Meaning. Those are at the back of the nave. There's a $15 $15 suggested donation to cover the costs, but please pick up a copy and start reading it. The bookmarks that have the reading schedule for Lent will start the first Sunday of Lent as a parish, reading that text together. And I'm encouraging spiritual life groups, committees, house groups, all forms that you are gathering to read that text and to have conversations about how to make meaning out of our human suffering during the season of Lent. As we care for each other, love and care are the only way that we are going to thrive through challenging times. So please pick up a copy at the end or beginning of church today. Without further ado, Marjorie, I pass the floor to you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you came out on this frigid cold morning because I almost did. Almost like Craig and said I can't do it. I was out there. It is indeed quite chilly out. Where do I want to start this? I mean, I know where first, I have to say, it is still Black History Month, so welcome. And so, of course, I feel compelled to begin this morning with a Black history fun fact that has nothing to do with the civil rights movement.
Yes.
Because we did a lot more stuff than that. And so this morning's Black history fun fact, which just delighted my soul when I just discovered this little tidbit, is that there's a gentleman, this will affect everyone's life in here. There's a gentleman named Alfred J. Crawley who invented the lever ice cream scoop in 1897.
Yes.
After watching them at old school ice cream parlors struggle to get the ice cream off the scoop, he went home and he invented the lever that makes the scoop of ice cream come out the spoon perfectly onto the cone.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm also bringing it to my yoga class every week, like before we begin. Like this is fun facts. So I just want to encourage you to get into the history of the multiplicity of people who helped to make this country what it is and who we are. All of us are foreigners to this land, to be clear. And so I think it's really important that we understand the contributions of all people. And it's such fascinating work because it goes far beyond just alleviating our suffering, but actually bringing delight and happiness into the world. And so I just want to encourage that for you and with you. And because I won't be here next week, I'll lay one more on you. A gentleman named Ken Tanner, who was an engineer, I forget for what company, he created the super soaker gun that kids love in the summertime, the big ones. You know, when I grew up, it was just little water guns. We grew up with like little tiny and then the water poured on you or then it shot out the gun. And he actually created the big like super soaker gun. So I'm just leave that one with you. So that you have one more Black history tidbit. So I am so glad to be here with you this morning and as how do I want to clean this up? I want to say two things. Yes, I know it's supposed to be on somatic things, and I'm a yoga teacher, and so I get it. I work with people in their bodies, so I get that. No, we are not going to do yoga this morning. So no fears there. But what I want to say, and for those in the room who preach and teach in this vein, when you are given a text, an idea, and people say, we want you to come, and you're like, oh, okay, and you kind of get an idea, okay, well, what do you want to have happen? Here's some scripture, here's some things you can do. And then you go home and you sit down to work with it. the Lord be revealing.
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying?
mm,
And so it's not that we can't talk about somatic body healing and joy, et cetera, but really what stuck for me, and it could be just the jubilation that is Black History Month,
mhm.
but what stuck with me was joy as liberation.
Yes.
When I read that as kind of like the subtext for today's conversation. And so what I wanted to begin with, because I know having sat in a few faith forums, is that, you know, what that revealed to me is that I wanted to hear from the people. I really want this to be more of a discussion and conversation with one another and less of a me pulling on top. You see, I work at the University of Minnesota and I gotta peel those young brains open and I gotta pull knowledge on the inside and hope that it stays in. But here, but here in this space, as we are all on this walk of faith, we all have insights and experiences to share with one another. Now, I don't want you to be worried that I took the lazy way out and I ain't got nothing for you. I do have something for you. But before I share, I want to hear from y'all. The older I get, the more southern I sound. I want to hear from y'all. Before I begin, because if I give it to you, then you're just going to reflect back to me. Dr. Mark knows, he also teaches in the higher ed space. If I say it, you just gonna reflect back to me when I say it.
Mm.
Right?
Right.
So I want to start with questions today. Y'all ready? You got the questions in front of you. And I actually want to start with question number 5, which is, what is your definition of joy? And is it different from happiness? What is your definition of joy? And is it different from happiness? Yes,
Exhilaration.
exhilaration. Can you say more?
Mindless happiness.
Mindless happiness. Okay, fantastic. I love that. Yes.
With this question, it always takes me back to a quote I heard years ago that Marian Anderson, the opera singer,
Mhm.
was asked, why are you happy all the time? And she said, I'm not happy. I choose to be joyful.
I love that.
And so it's kind of a choice
Mhm.
to choose that view and that way of being in life.
I love that. I love that. Anybody else? Definition of joy.
It seems, for me at least, whereas happiness can kind of move into just a low simmer,
Mhm.
joy has an intensity to it, and a spontaneity to it.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's choosing joy, which might complicate that. But joy is an eruption. That's not so much just kind of slow and steady, but a real peak.
Okay, a real peak in the
Yeah,
happiness.
yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so happiness is kind of, you can, you know, it's transactional. You can be happy, go have a good supper, go have, you know, go to a good, you know, you could kind of transactional. Joy just kind of permeates. It's a field that comes on you and, you know, there's, you know, how did it happen? Oh, but I'm joyful.
Right. Right. Yes.
I think it's kind of that unexpected, you know, like you're not thinking, and all of a sudden something happens, like you see a little cute little kid smiling, or you see a kitten playing, or you know what I mean? It's just all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, look at, oh, it's, you know, and you smile. And so you don't necessarily have to plan it. It's just kind of spontaneous things that you notice about life, like you notice a beautiful tree or whatever.
One of the things I wonder about it is, like, can you choose it? Yesterday I was visiting with a friend whose mother had passed away, and so we were outside and we were kind of talking about that. And then
She told me that she had stopped smoking after 3 years. And I wasn't expecting that at all. And it was amazing that I was erupted inside with this feeling of, thankfulness and joy and happiness. I could feel it coming out my eyeballs, as I was looking. And it was a real moment. So I don't know if it's like, it's down there, it's like, let me out, or what, but it certainly just bam, came.
I love that, the spontaneity. I love that. Anyone else on your definition of joy? Anyone online?
I agree with Mark. I feel like happiness is more like a steady state. And then joy is an eruption. I feel like for me, joy is easier to call bliss because it's just like short little moments of like here's the things that I have hoped for, or like I'm just so grateful in this moment for a bunch of things at once, and it's just like a little pocket of bliss.
Fantastic, thank you. A pocket of bliss, I love that. Yes.
I guess I've struggled sometimes with joy because I have a sister named Joy. And so it is a constant. And it doesn't necessarily mean happy. But it does mean I love you.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, going to question number 1, can you be blessed in a time of hardship or difficulty? Can you experience joy when feeling down and out? Yes.
I think there's two things going on here.
Mhm.
One is the kind of outer stuff that's going on
Mhm.
in the environment and your people you work with or whatever. And then there's a deeper level of being that I think is affected much more by the inner than the outer. And I really believe that it's possible to feel that this sort of inner spark, creativity, love, security, whatever you want to call it, even though the outer world may be pushing in on you or really making things difficult for you.
Anyone else, can you experience joy when feeling down and out? Or be blessed in a time of hardship and difficulty? Yes, ma'am.
When I saw this question, the first thought that came to me was that years ago, working in chaplaincy, keeping vigil with a family at a time when there's an impending death. And often those times were times of rich sharing and reminiscing. And I'll give you one concrete example. I worked in a place where if there was a death in the hospital, the kitchen would send up coffee and cookies for the family to enjoy before they left the hospital while the paperwork was being done. And one time I was with a family and the kitchen sent up an enormous pile of individual packets of fig Newtons. And I was just embarrassed by this. I thought, can't we do better than this? And without hesitating, the women in the group came and unwrapped each cookie and put it on a plate just to present it to the group. They weren't bothered by this. They loved the fact that there were cookies and they were preparing them to serve. There was joy in that room around sharing a meal, around being together, around reminiscing about the person they had just lost. So a real contrast, but it was rich, it was very rich, it was palpable.
Okay. Yes.
Well, I guess this is more wondering. I wonder whether this is connected, at least for me, in a sense of the future or hope or anxiety. If I'm anxious, it's hard for me to be joyful. I can be sad about something that's happening, but if I have a sense of future and hope, I don't know that it's a different kind of thing I'm carrying. So I'm not sure how that's related, but for me, there's something about being anxious that I can't access joy.
Yes.
That kind of what you were saying, Mary, when there's community. When you're in a hardship situation, but you feel like there's community, that gives you joy. Like, for instance, if somebody has died, then, but all your family and friends come around you and support you, and you know they care about you. That feeling of deep joy of just having a community, it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it is Black History Month, and at the beginning of this year, we were offered the opportunity to read or hear Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches. And so I got it down off of Audible, I forget who recommended it, but I've been listening to them. And he is filled with joy as he is describing the terrible circumstances that they all have to live in, and yet he is joyful in that, you know, there will be a brighter future, you know, he just knows it in this moment.
So are you saying that joy and hope are synonymous?
Well, I don't know if you could be joyful without having hope, but I don't know if having hope requires that you be joyful.
Yeah.
You use the word blessed, and I regard it as a blessing. And I felt extremely joyful and blessed yesterday when we were celebrating that Holy Trinity Church.
Absalom
I just
Jones.
Absalom
thank
Jones.
you, God. And reading Martin Luther King's book, it's consumed me. And he is a joyful, wonderful, hopeful, deeply religious man.
Yes.
On the opposite side is serious. My dad died at the Mayo Clinic, and my large Catholic family gathered around his deathbed. You know, since it was a complicated relationship, really, I cried more for my dad than I ever did for my mom. So this was a horrible, sad time. And in comes a priest we'd never seen before. And we don't quite know what to expect, probably Holy Communion, right? Something pull us all together. And he says, okay, let's all sing, Jesus loves me, this I know. And I look at my family, it's like, what the hell? And Jeannie, especially my godchild, Jeannie and I, it's like, the laughs are gonna start any minute. And somehow we get to, gee, this is not a Catholic hymn. This is, you know, something that, you know, Protestants sing at Bible camp. And we get through the whole thing just barely holding it in. Barely holding it in. In my mind, you know, that was the most joyful I felt over this, you know, the complicated relationship with your dad, you know, he's dead, he's gone. It was wonderful. So it is that funny balance. Who knows where this, you know, really contributes to what you're talking about, but that was my moment of joy.
Yes, I love that. I love
Were there fig Newtons?
I wish, not a one, not a one.
How do you cultivate more joy when you need it or want it? Are there certain practices, scriptures, or other readings that help you in that process? What helps you cultivate more joy when you need it? Yes.
For me, it's a sense of gratitude that just comes at times. And
I don't know whether it's being an advanced age or what, but it seems more and more that I'm aware of this. And that feeling of gratitude fills me with joy. And I feel that there is so much that I have to be grateful for. That just happened.
Yes.
For me, it would be going outside and looking at nature and observing an amazing bird or a pair of birds feeding each other or dogs. People and their dogs. You just don't see dogs that are sad. I just don't feel sad.
Fantastic, I love that.
Yeah, so it's.
Yes, sir.
To me, one is living your values. And so, and as I was thinking about that, for instance, if you're familiar with it, we're all faced with the tyranny of the urgent. So what seems to be demanded of us, we tend to pay attention to, but we don't stop and sort that and think about what am I really being called to do? And am I doing those things? Because in doing what you value, there's to me, a joyfulness that comes. And it's to me, it can be complex. And because I struggle with how do you define hardship and difficulty? And I think of my experiences around the globe in third world countries, and you really see hardship, yet joy that I rarely see in the US. And so there's something that we're missing and we need to learn what this is and what's different. Because the simplest thing in those countries produces a very joyful reaction.
Yes.
So for a practice that's very practical, I have an annual membership to the Science Museum in Minnesota. And I live like a 10-minute walk from there. So if during the day it's cloudy and full of stuff, I can walk down and I see Davy in the corner up there. I see little children running from one exhibit to another, just with enthusiasm about it. You cannot go into the Science Museum and leave it not feeling, joyful.
I love that. I love that. What does it mean to hunger for righteousness, and how do we practice or pursue it? What does it mean to hunger for righteousness, and how do we practice or pursue it?
I used to get really hung up on this word righteousness. It sounded like it was like, whoa, big heavy duty cloud up in the sky that I don't know what it was gonna do to me. And I like to keep things simple, so if I think of it now, it's just living in the right relationship with God and with other people. And so how do I do that? And is what I'm doing a pathway for me to do that? Or do I need to change my path to something different? So I think it's great to hunger for that. Because there's a sense of truth to that. And if you can find that, by God, stay on it, because it'll take you in the right direction.
For me, I felt like I was doing that in this campaign of 2024. And the work that I and so many others did for the candidate who was. And it felt like, to me, she represented righteousness. And having a hard time adjusting to who's now running our country. Just getting my oomph back to activate again. You know, at a practical level, that felt like righteousness.
Anyone else? Yes.
I'm rewatching the series Pose on Hulu just to cope with today's realities. And the thing about the ballroom culture in Harlem, Black and brown queer people, I think joy has to be something active. Happiness is something passive. And I think when it comes to righteousness, this idea of right-wising, being put back into right relationship, you know, in the ballroom, there were these categories where everything outside of the ballroom told you you were not worthy of was actually something everyone was worthy of in the ballroom. And I think there was such joy in those scenes where people actively come together to remind each other of what it means to be in right relationship with yourself and with your neighbor and with your community as a creature of God. And I think that's where hungering for that, you know, that's how the community stayed thriving and creative, and where voguing erupted and changed the world, and where culture itself, taste and beauty, you know, were came out of a place of profound resistance to oppression and pain. And I think, you know, this whole series is, how do we refuse to be defined by a victimhood label? How do we actively be involved in creating joy righteously in community as individuals and as people of faith? So that's, I think, this hunger that I've been trying to find in rewatching all of Pose.
Which, you know, is a great framework for the last question. Finding joy in serving others is not always easy. How and why do we keep doing it? Finding joy in serving others is not always easy. How and why do we keep doing it? Yeah.
I think a lot of people would, I hope you can hear me over Davey. He's talking to Barney right now. What a lot of people might quibble with me over dark humor being a cope instead of a form of joy. But for me, I think dark humor gives me joy if used correctly. And when you're serving others, there are going to be a lot of moments of bliss pocket kind of joy. And then there's going to be dark humor kind of joy. And last night I had a man come up to me, and out of nowhere, he called me a stupid pink bitch. And he was holding a Bible in each hand. And I just thought that was the funniest thing. And so, I don't know, like, you might think that was the worst part of my night, but I thought it gave me joy.
I love that. I love that.
Terry?
I think one of the things in terms of serving others, being a caregiver at various points, different people, one of the things that gives me joy is when somebody needs assistance, if I can make them laugh. Usually, you know, with caregiving, there's some reason. I just took a friend to urgent care on Wednesday, and the best part of the travel was making her laugh. She was terribly sick, so didn't want to make her laugh, choke. But I think for serving others, it helps me give them something that takes them beyond what their particular need is right now. And so it's something that makes me joyful.
I think I have a very similar reaction to Terry, actually. I think that when the personal connection can be kept foremost, that's where the joy can be found. That there's all of the supplying of the stuff that is needed. And that's crucial, of course. But it shifts from something kind of burdensome to something joyful, and when that personal connection is established. And so if it's getting them laughing, That's a wonderful way to do it. And other ways, as long as a relationship is palpable in those moments, I think.
I would also add, if there is community in the serving. I mean, when we serve at First Nations Kitchen, and we're working together to put, produce and maybe grocery bags.
And clean back.
Yeah, I know the whole, but there is a feeling that we are doing this together that to me reinforces that whole sense.
I love that. Well, thank you. I love this. This was so great. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. So I will share with you what I prepared for you today. So in my work outside of preaching and teaching here with you all, I do presentations and workshops on joy. And I'm often in a more secular audience, but my work is very much rooted in my faith foundation as a Christian. I have a very specific understanding of joy that I will share with you today. But the song, This Joy That I Have, really sums it up in the line that is repeated over and over as the song itself, which is, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Now, if any of you have ever watched the Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington movie version of The Preacher's Wife, you know that she has a musical number where she sings with the Georgia Mass Choir. And one of the songs that they sing is about joy. And one of the refrains is, joy, joy, God's great joy. Joy, joy, down in my soul. Sweet, beautiful, soul-saving grace. Joy, joy in my soul. Now, joy doesn't deny all that we have been through, survived, and conquered. Joy includes all of that. Now, what are the elements of joy? Joy requires a regenerative heart, right? So who remembers their first broken heart? Like your very first one. Now, it ain't got to be a romantic one. It can be, the loss of your best friend at 10 because they chose somebody else to be their best friend. Or, it could have been as a teenager when you wanted to be picked for the team and they didn't pick you for the team, right? So it doesn't have to be a romantic one. But at the time that this first heartbreak happens, it feels as if the world is ending, right? And yet you love again, you get a new bestie, and you achieve new goals. Your heart, it heals, it grows, and it evolves to regenerate new joys within you. Now, I believe that joy is different from happiness in that it is inner work. And I think of it like this. Joy is like the furnace in your home. No one thinks about it or sees it, but if it goes out in a Minnesota winter, they will feel it. Now, it is your job to take care of your furnace so that it runs well. The same thing is true for joy. You must tend to the little flame of your own inner furnace. Now, happiness, which is also very important, is external. I think of happiness like a bonfire. It's outside. And the more you put in the bonfire, the more it grows. And the more it grows, the more you want other people to share in it. Happiness needs an external reason, like a situation, a person, or an occasion. Happiness is backyard barbecues, healthy, happy family reunions, girl trips, book clubs, pickleball. These shared activities feed our happiness. Joy is yours alone. You take care of your joy by doing the things you love, like cooking, meditation, reading, yoga, writing, often singular activities that you alone enjoy. Get it? In. That's it. Everybody gets it. But I'm keeping the joke. It's gonna go. Yes. It gives a lasting contentment, no matter our circumstances. It is always accessible to us because it is within us. Nothing and no one can completely steal it away because, like that furnace, it is anchored down deep within you. Now, I think of two scriptures when I think of joy. Number one, Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Against such things there is no law. These things live within us. 2, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? Tending our joy is both a sacred practice and a holy gift. Coming into alignment with God's values and God's will through a consistent practice of acknowledging the God within us in the form of the Holy Spirit is a spiritual practice. I think the Bible and Jesus are very clear that this does not happen just in church, temple, synagogue, or other designated holy spaces. It happens in daily life as the rituals we choose to stay connected to the divine within us and all around us. Now, the word beatitude, getting to today's lesson, today's gospel, the word beatitude is Latin for supreme blessedness, or one might say abundant joy. The Beatitudes in Luke differ from the more recited ones in Matthew, as they include woes, or one might say warnings or curses of a sort. Now, I'm going to read through these, as well as the rich lessons that go beyond the Beatitudes in Luke, which is quickly becoming my favorite gospel, because Jesus is so fierce in the book of Luke. I just love it. Blessings and woes. Luke chapter 6, verses 20 through 38. Then he looked up at his disciples and said, Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice on that day and leap for joy, for surely your reward is great in heaven, for that is how their ancestors treated the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now, for you will mourn and weep. Woe to you when all speak well of you, for that is how their ancestors treated the false prophets. Love for enemies. But I say to you who are listening, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt. Give to everyone who asks of you. And if anyone takes away what is yours, do not ask for it back again. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you expect to receive payment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much again. Instead, love your enemies, do good, and lend expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, for he himself is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Judging others. You see, this is instructions. I couldn't dress this up. I just gotta read it to you. Because, I mean, it's just right there. Do not judge, you will not be judged. Do not condemn, you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back. Now, see, that's starting to sound like yoga philosophy, but I'm gonna leave that there. I think that Luke is starting to become my favorite gospel. In it, Jesus is so fierce and powerful presence and has a clear stance on things. When I read these Beatitudes, but especially the passages that come after it, Jesus offers a clear outline on how we should live, be in the world, and be in right relationship with one another. I believe that these practices, when done diligently with sincere integrity, will lead us into a state of joyous liberation from within, so that we can serve in the world all around us. The more we learn to depend on God and not materialism or external validation and praise, the more we are liberated from much of what weighs us down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, bringing us into alignment with our divine joy. I think joy has more in common with peace than with happiness. It is such a profound contentment that I dare say it is a state of being with God and with God in us that transcends words. Joy is a deeper spiritual perspective and experience despite life's challenges. The world cannot give it, and the world can't take it away. Now, I just watched a movie on Netflix on Friday called The Forge, and it is about a young man who, through happenstance, comes to be mentored by a man of God. Now, this young man learns a lot of biblically based life lessons that change him and his life. One of the things that his mentor teaches him is that being a Christian is just acknowledging Jesus as your Lord and Savior. But being a disciple of Christ is about living and following his teachings in your everyday life. The movie shows that as this young man embraces these teachings, he finds inner peace, joy, and contentment, which changes his external life and relationships considerably. Joy as liberation is exemplified by being freed of what weighed him down, kept him troubled, and from being his highest best self. Embracing these lessons of Jesus brings liberation, which offers us joy as we learn to live like Christ and be his disciples in the world. I think this final passage from Luke chapter 6, verses 39 through 42 helps to sum it up when it reads, he also told them a parable. Can a blind person guide a blind person? Will not both fall into a pit? A disciple is not above the teacher, but every disciple who is fully qualified will be like the teacher. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, friend, let me take out the speck in your eye, when you yourself do not see the log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. We cannot be disciples of Christ if we don't do our own work first. This inner work, doing these things that Jesus has very clearly outlined, leads us to joy. And it liberates us to being able to help others in their journey towards a liberating joy by living in alignment with God's will. Thoughts?
Thank you.
Amen.
Yes, thank you.
Is that time?
Did you want the song?
Oh, did we not play it before?
We didn't.
Oh, okay. We can play it now. Unless anyone has thought. Because I would love to hear thoughts, feedback. Since this is what I'm trotting around the city selling. No.
Are we ready?
You have it?
I do.
Okay.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have, this strength that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have. This love that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this love that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this pride that I have, this pride that I have, this pride that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have, I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this pride that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this peace that I have, oh, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give me my peace that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. Won't you sing about peace? This peace that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this joy that I have, this joy that I have, this joy that I have. Oh yeah, now the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Resistance Revival Chorus believes in the words written by the poet Toy Darracott when she wrote, "Joy is an act of resistance." We believe in the words of Mr. Harry Belafonte, who said, "When the movement is strong, the music is strong." We sing to revive the hearts of those who fight for social justice, and we sing together for freedom.
5 words you pronounce.
Well, I hope that you carry joy through these next 4 years, through these next 4 days of frigid temperature. And that you know that you can access that by doing the things that stoke you on the inside and feed your spirit. So thank you so much. I know you guys get the clocks.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you so much.
I have no way to comment on it, but it's one of those things that I think touches you in a different way.
Girl, so and I got a song every time. I can't sing, but I try to bring it. If you would like a copy of my presentation, Craig did print them out. If you want a copy of my presentation, you are free to have that.
Is he posting up? Oh.
Yes, sir.
If I watch you. I just want that it's for us. For a minute. Yeah.
It's funny, I never knew.
Well.
Stay warm.
Right.
Okay.
Here, we all go through it.
Is she a theologian?
Yes, right. Yeah. I saw this. Oh, try to walk around the lake, but we didn't send it off in that. Yeah, but I do think it's near, yeah.
Oh.
It's right through.
Okay.
They want to be better. If they want to choose
Yes, yes.
All right.
And so that's.
So think about it,
that's
yeah.
there. It's sort of the general.
Usual, yes.
For her, she said it's been on in
Yes.
I had food transfiguration. I don't have any. You like.
New
kids,
life.
yeah. Decided to.
And I think that's
Wow. All right. So to the good people, can you see me? To the good people online, we are done here with the Faith Forum. So I don't know if there's a different link for you to switch over for the actual.
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, the link for the services on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marjorie.